every video now on YouTube with some type of YouTuber who's a trucker is telling new truck drivers fresh out of CDL school,
the champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here!
YouTube! What's happening? It's your boy Charm the Trucker's Champ back in the building. Hey, that was my man Walter from the YouTube channel B2 Speaks. I will put a link to that full video down in the description. If you're, you want to see that full video, he's made some interesting points on there. Go over there, check out that video, show him some love, leave a like, check out the rest of his channel, and if you're feeling him, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Yeah, we're going to talk about should new truck drivers fresh out of CDL school go local right away. And if you've been watching the channel for a while, you already know that I think all drivers fresh out of CDL school should go OTR or regional. But if you watch all the way until the end, I will let you know a little secret that could help you out if you absolutely need to stay local. A little secret that could actually help you out and have you become a better driver and still stay local. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. Like I said, if you guys been watching the channel for a while, you already know that I think all drivers should start off OTR or regional. Not just because that's what I did, but because you're going to get better training, and that's ultimately going to make you a better and safer driver. Okay? The reason I say that is a lot of these bigger companies that are, OTR or regional, so a lot of them have outstanding training for their drivers. Like, I'm always like a proponent of Hogan's training. I feel like they trained really good. They even teach you the Smith system, which if you don't know what that is, look that up, or we'll get into that actually in some other videos. But yeah, they actually teach you and certify you in the Smith system. And not to mention, their training, like when they put me with a trainer, they put me with the guy who had been driving since the 80s. Like, when he got his CDL, it wasn't called a CDL, it was called a chauffeur's license, right? He taught me the ins and outs of trucking the old school way. You know what I mean? About flashing your lights to thank people for letting you over, or flashing your lights to let another driver know that it's safe for him to go ahead and come on over, or them to come on over. Come on through. Man, people just don't understand that I'm making a turn. It's gonna be tight. Don't pull all the way up. They want to pull all the way up anyways, past the stop bar. But yeah. So listen, when you first become a driver, first of all, let me mention this: CDL school does not teach you to drive. CDL school teaches you to pass the CDL test. That's it. You learn to drive at your first company, okay? So your first company is probably your most important company, okay? And do you want to take the chance of going local and getting some training, some inadequate training? You know what I mean? Listen, what a lot of new drivers don't know is that every driver has a permanent record. It's called a DAC report, which stands for Driver A Check. Every single company you can work for, you will go to work for, can check this, right? Hold on, give me 1 second. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Not much.
All right, brother.
Thank you. You too. So yeah, that stands for driver A check. And that DAC report has everything about your driving career on it. Every single employer can check this report, right? It has the equipment you have operated, the miles you have driven, and if you have had any accidents or any violations, right? It's all on that report. So, if you're a brand new driver and you go to one of these local companies who gives you inadequate training and you get in an accident or a wreck, say you go to leave that company, your next company is going to pull that DAC report and see that accident, right? They might say, hey, we can't hire you because this, and this. Listen, these companies have to report these accidents, okay? It's not a if they want to type of deal. They have to report these accidents, no matter how small, right? Example, when I went to Cisco, my trainer had been working there for 20 years. Now, he hadn't been driving for 20 years. He did what a lot of their drivers at that terminal, at that DC did, which was started in the warehouse, got his seniority up, and then went over to transportation and became a driver. This is how a lot of them get the easier routes, because they already have seniority by the time they become drivers, right? So he didn't know what a DAC report was. He didn't know that every driver has a permanent record, that every accident, every mile you have driven, all the equipment you have driven go on this report. He did not know that, and he had been a driver for I don't know how many years, but some years, okay? So where I'm going with this is Cisco, when I was there, Cisco had a brand new driver, fresh out of CDL school. They gave him a month worth of training and then sent him out on his own. Within 2 weeks, he had been in 2 accidents. One was kind of minor, where I think he knocked the mirror off of another vehicle while he was making a turn. And the other one, it was still kind of minor, but what happened was he made a turn too sharp and put a gash in a fuel tank and spilled fuel all over the road. Now, both of those accidents are on his DAC report. If he were to try to leave Cisco and go to another place, they're going to see that on his DAC report, and it's a good chance that he won't get hired by any of these other companies. He has since then stopped driving for Cisco and just went to washing trailers because he was so shook about driving, okay? So anyways, yes, when you first start driving a semi, it could be very stressful, especially in the city, okay? Now, I am not saying don't ever go local or, just don't get any of these jobs. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying when you first start out, you want the best training possible, okay? And in my opinion, you're not going to get that from any of these local companies. And on top of that, a lot of these local companies will hire you fresh out of CDL school, but say you get in an accident or something, they will fire you. A lot of them will fire you and just leave you out there dangling, not knowing that you might not be able to get hired by any of these other companies because of the accident that happened at their company, okay, on their time. Now, with that being said, like I was saying, city driving can be very stressful, especially for a new driver. You're trying to get a feel for the truck, trying to get used to it, and you got people swerving in front of you, cutting you off, people riding your trailer, people riding in your blind spots. It can be very, very hectic, okay? So keep that in mind if you're thinking about going local right out of CDL school, okay? Now, with all that being said, ultimately, we're all grown. We can all make our own decisions, right? If you feel like you're mature enough to where you can go to CDL school and then go straight to city driving, by all means, go ahead and give it a shot. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying it'll be easier for you if you actually went highway first, like just straight highway, no city driving first. Got a feel for the truck. And another thing is, a lot of the local drivers, a lot of the local city drivers drive single axle semi-trucks. Now, say if you start off and you're doing city driving, you're driving one of these single axle trucks, it's not the same as driving a dual axle, okay? So if you leave that company and you go to a company that only has dual axle trucks, they're going to look at your DAC report and see that you have never driven one outside of CDL school. You're going to have to go back into driver training with their company if they allow it, okay? Now, another thing is, if, say, you go local for 1 whole year, you go to apply for another job. Say, another driver who's been OTR or regional for a whole year is also applying for that same job, and this company can only take 1 driver. Who do you think they're going to pick? They're going to pick the OTR or regional driver, simply because even though you guys have been driving the same amount of time, he has more experience, more miles than you do, okay? Not to mention, probably better training, all right? So, when you're coming out of CDL school, just make a wise, informed decision on where you want to learn to drive. You know what I mean? Before you go local, think about it. And I understand, you know, a lot of you have families and stuff, and you need to be close to home. So, I'm going to give you this quick little tip on how you might be able to go local and still get the training of an OTR driver, okay? But before I do that, I'm gonna need you guys to hit that thumbs up button. Help us in this YouTube algorithm push this video out. You know, we just trying to educate as many drivers as possible on what it's really like being a trucker out here on these roads and going to CDL school and making money and all that kind of good stuff, okay? So, now, if you absolutely need to be local, but you want the best training possible, your best bet would be to find a company that has a lot of OTR drivers, regional drivers, but they also have local routes that they hire new drivers for. Like, I know Hogan is one of them. JB Hunt, Swift, they have them. I'm pretty sure Knight does too. A lot of these bigger companies also have local routes that they will hire new drivers for. But the benefit is you will get the same training as one of their OTR or one of their regional drivers, okay? They're going to give you the exact same training, but it's going to be a local setting. And you're probably going to be mostly, what gate is he talking about? You're probably going to be mostly highway and not city driving. You know what I mean? I don't know what he's talking about here. You guys, excuse me. I'm trying to find this yard where they're telling my dispatcher wanted me to go to. Okay, here it is. Switch trucks real quick. So, anyways, yeah, you guys look for companies like that. Look for these bigger companies that mostly do like OTR and regional type stuff, but they also have local routes that they're hiring new drivers for. You're going to get the same training as their local or as their OTR and regional drivers, okay? And that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Make sure you look down in the description box. Check out Walter from the YouTube channel B2 Speaks, and you know, show him some love, and actually watch his video. He got a lot of good points on there, okay? It's your man Charm. Hey, saying keep a positive mental attitude and all your dreams and wishes will come true. But for now, your boy, the Truckers Champ, is leaving the building. I'm up out of here. Peace.